The king of the north!
I am the dragon's daughter.
By what right does the wolf judge the lion?
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. So there's this character that a lot of folks are fond of, myself included. His name is Sir Bronn of the Blackwater. But what do we know about Bronn? We first meet Bronn at the inn where Catelyn seizes Tyrion. Tyrion is on his way south with Yoren from the Wall. Catelyn hires Bronn and his sword. Bronn is said to be a sellsword that has been north of the Wall. Could Bronn be a member of the Night's Watch that has forsaken his vows? Maybe. But there could be another reason Bronn was north of the Wall. He could have been born there. He could very well be a wildling. So it seems we have several options. Just a sellsword traveling on the King's Road looking for a come-up. A man of the Night's Watch gone AWOL. Some have even suggested he may be a reign of Castamir or a Tarbeck, or maybe a servant of the many-faced god. When Bronn and Tyrion are at the Lannister encampment, they play a game with Seige.
You've been north of the Wall.
What brought you up there?
Work.
Bronn admits he had been north of the Wall. Seige asked him what took him there, and he says work. Well, being in the Night's Watch, I guess you could consider that work. But then another question comes into play. When Tyrion first meets Bronn, Tyrion is with Yoren. Yoren has been in the Night's Watch for quite some time. So shouldn't Yoren notice Bronn? Shouldn't he know he's a brother that has deserted? And why would Bronn speak up and offer to share his room to Tyrion, bringing unwanted attention to himself if he deserted? But then, if you think about it, the chances of Yoren knowing who Bronn is are quite slim. It would be possible they would have crossed paths, but Yoren was a recruiter, a wandering crow. He wanders the Seven Kingdoms looking for recruits to take the Black. He's been recruiting for 30 years, back and forth from south to the Wall and back again. So chances are, if Bronn was a man of the Night's Watch, Yoren never met Bronn and Bronn never met Yoren. Bronn never discloses his last name, ever.
And here we have Bronn, son of...
You wouldn't know him.
For all we know, his surname is Blackwater. What other work could be north of the Wall? Bronn is smart enough not to take the job dueling the mountain because he thinks it's dangerous, but he's dumb enough to go north of the Wall for work. It doesn't add up. There is nothing north of the Wall but Craster, wildlings, frozen lakes, and mountains, and other more dangerous things. What if Bronn is a wildling, and his work was to get south, or he just wanted to get south in general to wait out winter? For a wildling to get over the Wall, it seems almost impossible, but we have seen Jon do it when he climbed the Wall with Ygritte, Tormund, and the rest of the wildlings with the use of climbing spikes. Speaking of climbing spikes, when Tyrion tells Bronn that the Eyrie is impregnable, Bronn says to give him some climbing spikes.
The Eyrie. They say it's impregnable.
Give me 10 good men and some climbing spikes. I'll impregnate the bitch.
This is probably just a coincidence, though. Probably really doesn't even matter. But I just wanted to throw this in there because there doesn't seem to be too many coincidences in this story. Bronn seems to know more than an average wildling. I will give him that. The inn at the crossroads where we first encounter Bronn is located in the Riverlands, very close to Salt Pans. Salt Pans is a trading post, a harbor on the Bay of Crabs. It was in Salt Pans that Arya booked passage on a Braavosi ship. Salt Pans is not a popular trading post, and it's small compared to White Harbor and Lannisport, but it seems Braavosi ships frequent Salt Pans because just out of the blue, when Arya wants to book a Braavosi ship, there's a Braavosi ship in Salt Pans. So could Bronn have gotten off of a Braavosi ship in salt pans and stopped at the inn at the crossroads? When Tyrion, Bronn, and Seige are playing games, Bronn says he knows a Braavosi knife game.
There's a Braavosi knife game I could teach you.
Catelyn remarks in the books that Bronn moves like a panther and his sword seems to be part of his arm. When Arya trains with Syrio, part of her training is catching cats, so she can learn to move like them, sneak and creep and catch her prey. And another lesson she is taught is that the sword is a part of her arm.
What if I drop it?
The steel must be part of your arm. Can you drop part of your arm? No.
While Tyrion is master of coin, he confides in Bronn about the debt the crown owes to the Iron Bank. Bronn asks him twice, what happens if you don't pay it back?
And what if I don't?
Well, you have to.
But what if I don't?
This is why I don't lend you money. Anyway, it's not my father I'm worried about. It's the Iron Bank of Braavos. We owe them tens of millions.
It's an odd question. A man smart enough not to fight the mountain, smart enough to kill the right people, smart enough to rise from a sellsword to the captain of the City Watch, smart enough to get knighted, smart enough to know Jaime set Tyrion free, smart enough to know the captain of the ship that took Bronn and Jaime to Dorne was going to tell on them. He was also smart enough to round up all the thieves and kill them before the siege, and he was smart enough to pronounce Archmaester Chevalier closer to correct than Tyrion. But we are to believe he doesn't know what happens when a loan isn't paid back. I doubt it. He could very well be there on behalf of the Iron Bank. But could Bronn just be a sellsword? Is anyone ever just what they appear in this story? When Tyrion sends Seige away, Bronn tells Tyrion that he saw Seige board the ship and he saw the ship leave, but yet Seige was in King's Landing at Tyrion's trial. Maybe the ship was stopped in the harbor upon Joffrey's death, but the ship should have been long gone by then. Maybe Seige just snuck off, I don't know, but it's weird. So maybe he is just a sellsword, a poor lad from Flea Bottom with the skill to sell his sword, and he felt sorry for Seige. There's a deleted scene from season 4 that shows exactly that. Shows Bronn feeling empathy for Seige and shows Bronn just explaining that he is just a sellsword. This scene was later deleted, maybe because the scene gave the wrong impression. The impression that Bronn is truly a sellsword. Or maybe because there just wasn't enough time in the episode to cover this scene. There is one part in this scene where Bronn says something that sticks out to me, and that is about adapting to circumstances.
We have to adapt to circumstances, is what I'm saying. Learn some new tricks. Come along, I've got a wedding to get to.
And that leads me to this. There is a long-running theory that Bronn is none other than a reign of Castamir. When he is singing the Reigns of Castamir, he is asked by the Lannister soldiers how he knows the song. He says from drunk Lannisters, which is probably true. But this could be the reason he befriends Lannisters, to betray them later. Get his revenge from the inside. Befriending a Lannister is one way of adapting to circumstances. Or going north of the wall to escape Tywin Lannister's wrath is another way to adapt to circumstances. Bronn being a reign of Castamir or a Tarbeck would make for a good story. But what if he's truly just a sellsword? He's been north of the wall. He says he's lived through a siege. He's been to Dorne before. He sells his sword. Is he really a sellsword from Flea Bottom? While in Dorne, one of the Dornishmen Bronn and Jaime later kill seemed to notice right away that Bronn and Jaime are from King's Landing. Bronn says the accent gave him away, but none of this happens in the books. This conversation, this scene, this Dornish thing never happens in the books. Bronn traveling around with Jaime to lift the siege at Riverrun also doesn't happen in the books. In the books, Bronn has married Lawless Stokeworth and named her son Tyrion, to the dismay of Cersei. He is also now the Lord of Stokeworth, also to the dismay of Cersei. So who is Bronn? Who is a man that knows Braavosi sword games, moves like a panther, fights like the sword is a part of his arm, adapts to circumstances and situations, a man that's lived through sieges, has been north of the wall for work, has been well traveled, and is smart enough to make the right friends and kill the right people. A man whose favorite thing is given the gift of death. Bronn is no one. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Ever since Bronn has said he's been north of the wall, I've just been curious as to who he really is. In my opinion, I really think he has a Braavosi faceless men storyline that has yet to unfold. I feel like no one in this story is who we truly think they are, and I feel Bronn has a big part to play. He's made it through 5 books in circumstances others would have died in, or maybe he's not important at all and that's why he's alive, because George R.R. Martin kills all the important people. Or am I just going through withdrawal? Probably. But as always, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments who you think Bronn is. Like this video if you like it. Please click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children. Have a good day.